Hello, I'm Claire Smith and welcome to my channel. So today I've got another 3 fragrances that I've bought blindly and I thought I'd just talk you through what I think of them. So the first of the 3 is one from Sarah Jessica Parker and that is Stash. So Stash comes in a box like this and you also get this kind of funny little bag to put the fragrance in as well, and the bottle looks like this. This was a bit of a YouTube made me buy it kind of fragrance, so I've seen a few people talk about this one, both positively and negatively. I've seen Chantal Tiffany talk about this one. I think she listed this one as her top celebrity fragrance. So I've also seen YouTubers declutter this, so I've seen Abby with Love declutter this fragrance. So there really is a very big mix of opinions. I've seen people open this and immediately hate it, and I can see that this will be polarizing. It's definitely going to be a love or a hate. It's not going to be something where you don't have an opinion. This is kind of completely opposite to what you would imagine a celebrity fragrance to be. It's something that I would never ever have imagined that Sarah Jessica Parker would come out with. I think the fact that this is unisex is really a complete departure for her. I think she listed inspiration from men's fragrances and from leather and from body odour even in the development of this fragrance. So it's a very interesting kind of journey she's been on. But yeah, I would cautiously check this one out. I couldn't actually smell this in a shop, which is why I blind bought it. I think it's being discontinued, so I kind of wanted to grab it before it was gone. So to me, this one is meant to be unisex, and I definitely do think that it is unisex. When you first spray this, what you get mainly is the pepper and I don't know whether it's the grapefruit or whether it's the olibanum, but there's kind of like a fruity kind of undertone to this, but then there's also an awful lot of sage. If you don't like sage, do not buy this perfume. So in the dry down, the sage continues, but also the ginger lily becomes more prominent. So you get that kind of sort of sour, spicy feel from the ginger lily. And I think in the dry down as well, the woods become more prominent. So you get a lot of cedar, and I think you get a lot of soil wood, which makes this fragrance kind of feel a bit creamy. I find that it doesn't last that long other than in a skin scent. So maybe for the first hour, this will project and you will be able to smell it without going straight to your arm or wherever you sprayed it. But after the first hour, I really need to respray. But you know, this is so cheap and this is such a large bottle that I really don't mind that. So this in stores, if you can find it, it's probably around £20. I know just before the November lockdown, Savers was selling this for £10 and then they'd reduced it to £5 for a 100ml bottle, which is just ridiculously cheap. I didn't get it from Savers, I got this from eBay, brand new bottle for, I think it was about £11.50 including postage. And there are plenty on there that you can easily get this fragrance for £10 or £15 if you do want it. So who do I think this is for? I think this is for people who do not want to smell super feminine. I think that it's kind of got that androgyny about it for sure. It's really kind of woody. If you like woody fragrances, if you like herbal smelling fragrances, you're going to love this. I think it's definitely more of a casual scent. This fragrance kind of makes me think of log cabins. I think that's because of the cedar note in it. It makes me think of, you know, like witchcraft with all the sage and stuff. It does have like a bit of a mysteriousness about it. I'm pleased to have this one. It's very different to everything else in my collection. Yeah, I like this. And I'm going to continue trying it out and wearing it for sure. So that's Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash. So the second fragrance that I've got today seems like a complete contrast to the first one. And this one is called Simply by Jil Sander, and this is the Poudree version. So I'd never heard of this fragrance, and I was on a fragrance website, namely the Fragrance Shop, and I was trying to get my order to £40 because I refused to pay postage charges, which is ridiculous because the postage would have been £2.99, whereas I think this fragrance was like £13.50, but I'd rather have a fragrance, to be honest. The box looks like this. It's really very simple, very something you would expect from Jil Sander, who is sort of known for clean designs. And then the bottle looks like this. So it has this kind of really interesting kind of pink milky liquid in it, and it perfectly describes the fragrance. If you look at this pink colour and this kind of milky consistency, then you will completely understand how this fragrance is going to smell. So to me, this has a very kind of synthetic smelling opening, but it does really quickly dry down into a really beautiful rice and tonka and vanilla and heliotrope kind of scent. It's very powdery, very kind, almost like a very light rice pudding, and it's got a lot of cashmere in it as well, so it does have that kind of real creamy feeling to it. So this fragrance also has a note of hawthorn in it, and if you come from where I come from, then you are surrounded by loads and loads of hedges that are absolutely packed full of hawthorn. And if you are lucky enough to be around in April, May time when the hawthorn blooms, then the air is filled with like sweet nectary kind of scent. And I think if you don't know what hawthorn smells like, it might be hard to find in this fragrance, but I definitely do kind of smell that kind of sweet nectar scent in this. But it's more background to the rice and the vanilla. I've really surprised myself with this fragrance. Before I bought it, I looked it up on Fragrantica and I saw the reviews and I thought, you know, okay, this doesn't sound like my jam, but I'm gonna try it. And I'm really pleased that I did try it because I find that it lasts really well. It's got very light projection after about the first hour, but really I could still smell it the next day on my clothes. It's just a really beautiful scent. It's really not something that I would have chosen had I not been forced to by the postage charges. This is a really serendipitous kind of choice for me. It's something that I'm really pleased to have. It's been compared a lot to Kenzo Amour. I've never tried that one, but I know that that's a famous kind of vanilla-y rice perfume. So if you like that, you might like this. I would describe this as kind of a baby powdery scent. It's like a really, really posh baby powder. I think that's just all the cashmere and the heliotrope and the vanillas. It feels really elegant, but also kind of cozy at the same time. It seems like the perfect kind of lockdown scent to me, this one. It's like a hug. Jil Sander described this one as the perfume to give you the feeling of cashmere on bare skin, and I would wholeheartedly agree with that. It feels luxurious, but it also feels kind of clean and powdery at the same time. This is an easy wear. This is not like, you know, this is not a challenge like Stash. I would be surprised if anybody didn't like this or couldn't tolerate this. I think this is quite a safe fragrance. I'm actually really surprised by how much I do enjoy this. Definitely something for staying at home, for lazing around, relaxing, even going to bed. I think this would make an amazing bedtime scent. So that's Jil Sander Simply Poudrée Eau de Parfum. So the third fragrance that I've got today is one that I didn't choose. I hadn't smelt it before and I hadn't seen any reviews of it online or anything. I hadn't read about it. I bought a big lot of fragrances on eBay at the end of November, beginning of December, and this was one of them. And I didn't buy that lot for this fragrance. So this one is Juicy Couture Viva la Juicy Noir. So I've never owned any Juicy Couture fragrances at all. I have tried Viva la Juicy, I think, in the past, and I remember really, really not liking it. I remember trying it in store and I just felt like it just wasn't me. It didn't feel like me. This one I think is slightly more me, but still not me. So this one has lots of berries in it, and this does have that Juicy Couture DNA of the orange with the caramel and the vanilla, and it's very prominent even with that berry note. So when you initially spray this, you do get a lot of mandarin in the opening, but then it quickly settles down into the berries, and the berries are really what comes through the most. A blueberry or a blackberry or something like that, but sweeter, much, much sweeter. And I think that's probably the caramel. I don't really get any of the amber or anything like that. I do maybe get some sandalwood. There is something creamy in this. There are some white florals, but it's just indistinct. It's actually only very strong for about the first 20 minutes or so, and then it kind of disappears into almost a skin scent. I think you would go through one of these bottles extremely quickly. I think that this would be something you would be respraying all the time if you did like it. I think for me, it's just too headache inducing. I don't know whether it's the sweetness from the caramel or maybe it's the combination of the white florals, but something in this just does not agree with me. Actually, on my arm, the berries and the vanilla and the caramel are kind of melding quite nicely. I can see this being quite a fun scent. I think if you are younger than me, maybe in your late teens, you might really enjoy this. I think actually out of all of the Juicy Couture scents that I've tried, this probably is my favourite. I think just because of that really prominent berry note. But I don't really understand the name. I don't see why they would call it Noir, because there's nothing noir about this. It's very kind of light-hearted, kind of fun scent. It's nothing noir about it. It's not mysterious. It's not dark. So those are the fragrances that I've got for you today. Please let me know if you have any of them and what you think of them. If you've enjoyed this video, please like the video and consider subscribing, because I do a lot of perfume videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!